What's going on, guys? I'm Mike Pouncey, former center for the Miami Dolphins. I'm here with Coach Fred and my brother Marquise Pouncey, former center for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let you guys know that Twin P is official liquor, the Common Man Podcast. Bottoms up, Twin P, best. Gotta drink some more.
What's up as we welcome everybody in to another edition of the Common Man Podcast Drive at 5 with me, your boy, your host, Coach Fred, man. We got a good show on for you guys tonight as we got our resident doctor, Fred Kency, who will be in as well. And then we have my guy from Albany State, Matt B. Coach Brown, co-defensive coordinator for Albany State University. And we're going to talk a little ball with him, and then we're going to talk a little ball also, a little healthcare with our resident doctor as we wait on him to come in as he was working midnight shift last night. So I got to keep checking to make sure he's in. Once he gets in, we'll bring him up, and we'll get right to it. In the meantime, in between time, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you have any guests that you would like to see from any HBCU program, drop it in there, let us know. But as they say on All the Smoke, you got to help us get them, because a lot of times guys get paranoid, don't want to come on, don't want to talk. And, we just talking ball. We ain't into all the X and O's and the schemes and all that. We just talking ball, talking life, talking football, talking health, just trying to keep everybody up to date with what's going on and, bring light to the HBCU sector. Before we get started, though, as we always do, and I can't do it right now, but as we always do, we toast to have a great show with our sponsor, Twin P Whiskey. Want to thank those guys again. Can't thank those guys enough. And we got a couple more sponsors that's coming on, man. So things are looking up. It's taking off. Football season is here in full effect. That's what we've all been waiting on. We got it. It's time to go with it right now. You know what it is, man. Once that first game hits, it's like everything else just kind of rolls downhill. But before we get into it, we got to talk about it. You know what I mean? We got to talk about it, and that's what it is. The month. The month is, as I'm trying to pull it up, I'm sorry, but the month is Suicide Prevention Month. Suicide Prevention Month. So we want to make sure that we're talking to our people, that we are engaging with our folks, man. If something seems off with somebody that we know is normally not off, somebody that we know is normally engaged, somebody that we know is normally out and about, or somebody that we know is usually a different way than what we're seeing here. Don't ignore the signs. Don't just assume that everybody's all right. You know what I mean? Let's make sure that we talk to them. Let's make sure that we ask questions. Asking questions don't mean we're prying. Asking questions don't mean we're being nosy. Asking questions is that we're trying to be concerned in the situation. We want to make sure that we're looking after our people beforehand, and not one of those situations of where we're kind of like, man, if I should have. Share a quick story while we're waiting on Doc and Coach Brown to get in. A former player of mine, and won't say his name, but maybe we'll be able to get his mother on at some point this month, made it to the top of what it is he wanted to do, which was play professional football. And in the midst of doing that, took some injuries, some things kind of, I guess became overwhelming for him. And, one of the things that up until here recently, was really tough for me to deal with was because the day that he actually committed the act, he called me, and I wasn't able to get to the phone, and I wasn't able, to call him back, of course, but I wasn't able to get to the phone. And it was always that what if for me for a long time. It was that what if I had answered the phone that day, that morning when he called. Would I have been able to say something, or would he have said something to me that would have triggered me to say something that could have led to, him still being here with us today? So I don't want anybody to ever have to go into that situation or feel like they're in that situation of wondering what if. So if something's off a little bit, let's just make sure we check in and kind of go to the ends to make sure that our people are good. And, that way it may only be just a simple phone call. Hey man, you good? Well, and that may lead to something else that opens up, that unlocks the situation of what we got going on, to where we can help somebody. And that's all it is. That's all we want to be, is we want to be a help. We want to become a blessing to others. And if we can help someone out of a rut, let's do it. That's what it's all about, right? So again, let's make sure that we're talking to our people and make sure that we're trying to help our people in the best way possible, as far as it goes, because this is, as we say, this is Suicide Prevention Month. So let's just make sure that we're looking out for our people. All right. And with no further ado, we'll go ahead and we'll get started. We'll bring up Coach Brown, and then when resident Dr. Kency get in, the show's doctor, when he gets in, we'll bring him up, and we'll go from there. But before I bring him in, man, I want to make sure that with everybody's liking, subscribing, sharing the page, the show. We got a good one, a young man that I've watched from a player to a GA to a position coach to now being the co-defense coordinator at Albany State University, D2 program that, has taken off, and they are really, really rolling. So at this point, with no further ado, let's stand and cheer and bring my guy, Matt B, to the stage.
Coach Fred, what's up, man? How you doing?
Brown. What's going on, Coach
What's up,
Brown?
Coach?
How you doing? I'm good, man. How you doing?
Good, Coach. I'm good. I can't complain about nothing, Coach. You just know the day-to-day grind we putting in.
Ain't no doubt, man. How's my sound? Can you hear me? Everything's good?
Oh, yeah, we good, Coach.
Good, man. Tell the people, man, Matt Brown, man, introduce yourself, brother.
How everybody doing today? First of all, Coach, I appreciate you for bringing me on. I'm Matt Brown. I currently serve as the co-defensive coordinator and the linebacker coach here at Albany State.
Albany State. Where you from, Matt? Tell the people where you from, bro.
I'm from the big city of Fayette, Mississippi, population of about 1,400. I watched your podcast last week, Coach, and you had Coach Falsman on, and he called Woodville the big city. He know better than that now, Coach.
Oh, my.
He know better than that.
Oh, my. Okay. Okay. Hey, Matt, real quick, man, I'm going to add the resident doctor in, man, and then we're going to get back to your story, your interview. But maybe the resident doctor can help a few kids there at Albany State, man, and then we'll keep it moving, all right?
Most definitely.
As we bring to the stage the show's doctor. The show's doctor. My doctor, your doctor, everybody's doctor. Dr. Fred Kency, man, how you doing?
I'm blessed and favored, my brother. I can't complain. How you doing?
Good, man. I know you pulled a rough one last night at the ER.
Oh, yeah.
I hope it was a quiet night for you.
No such thing.
No such thing. No such thing, man. Doc, man, I want to have you on for a little bit, just kind of talk real quick. We may have some young parents in here, some parents and some younger kids in here. And as football season is kicking off, we wanted to make sure that we kind of gave viewpoints to help those parents out, different aspects of football. And we wanted to start this month off with concussion protocol as it pertains to I would say our little league kids up to even our high school kids. And, we as college coaches, we are afforded the luxury of having trainers and team doctors. But for those that may not have them full time, little league, junior high, and some high school programs, I guess all high school programs have trainers on the sideline. But if a little kid has been diagnosed with a concussion, for a parent taking that kid home, what are some of the things that they can do to kind of make sure they're monitoring their child and it's getting, they're handling that situation where it needs to be handled?
The biggest thing is the follow up. A lot of times when kids get hurt, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to bring them to the emergency room, get us to check them out. And that's very, very important. If you aren't seen on the sideline by a physician or by someone who is in sports medicine that understands kind of how concussions work, and to also be sure that you're only working with the concussion. You'd be surprised how many times kids come in for a concussion workup, and then adrenaline on the sideline, they don't tell you that their pinky is also hurting, or that their clavicle is also hurting, or that their knee is also hurting when they went down for that hit. And then there's so many times where they come in for a concussion, that's all they wrote. But while you're doing your physical exam, you also find out that they got a dislocated finger, or they got a broken toe, or they got a fractured distal clavicle. So getting that exam completed is important by someone who knows medicine. That's the most important thing. Next important thing is, getting that diagnosis. Concussion is a clinical diagnosis. There's not a blood test that says, yeah, you did have a concussion. No, you didn't have a concussion. It's all clinical based on the events that happened at the scene. So having someone who actually witnessed the event is important. A lot of times we will get parents that bring the children in, but they weren't at the practice, or we'll get someone that brings the person in that didn't actually see the event happening. So having someone who actually witnessed the event is very important for a physician, because it can give us details that tell us, well, should I do a CT scan of his head? Should I do a CT scan of his neck? Should I do this? Should I do that? Those things are very important when you look at how exactly the actual contact happened. So we depend on that tremendously. History is the most important part of taking care of a patient. The next thing is the follow-up. Once you leave the ER, you get that diagnosis of concussion. What happens next? Hopefully you have some type of sports medicine or some type of athletic trainer, but like you said, the ones who don't, and the smaller things, you can actually, there's a couple different protocols you can almost just Google and look up, and they kind of walk you through what to look for and what not to look for. But the things that you're looking for that night, you want to make sure that they're not having any confusion. That's one of our biggest kind of telltales that they probably need to come back to the hospital. Ask them basic questions. Who's the president? Who's your principal? Who's your teacher? Do you recognize that person over there? That's dad. What's his birthday? Making sure that they don't have any significant confusion right after the event. Making sure that they don't have any significant kind of like nausea or vomiting. You don't want to send someone home and then they spend the entire night at home vomiting into a bag. We want to make sure we treat these kind of symptoms as much as possible. Make sure that they are very open about it. If anything changes, let us know. So if they start feeling neck pain, or they start feeling back pain, they start feeling pains they didn't feel when the adrenaline was still going, because that may be a sign they need to be reevaluated for a secondary injury on top of what they had for the concussion. So those are kind of like the big things that I tell parents when they leave the emergency room. Another thing is avoiding bright lights for at least 24, 48 hours until they're seen a second time by their provider. Bright lights and screen time. I tell people, one of the biggest, when I say that about bright lights and screen time, they say, well, I can't use my phone. You can. Luckily now, the phones have an option to take the screen brightness all the way down. And I tell them, keep that screen brightness as low as possible, because we know from research and such that bright lights and screen time during an acute injury of a concussion can make the recovery much longer. Okay, so in that first 48, 72 hours, we want to decrease as much bright light, decrease loud noises, decrease screen time as much as possible because we know that's going to help get them back into sports faster with a decreased chance of having this linger for a lot longer. Beyond that is getting them in with someone. If they're, at 42, 72 hours, if they're completely symptom free, no headaches, no nausea, not complaining of any neck pain, not complaining of anything else that's deathly concerning. The next thing is the kind of the return to play protocol. So that something that's easily Googleable, that you can look up. But it's a thing of kind of doing some cognitive resting. That's kind of starts at hour 1. Next thing is doing light exercises. So you can't go from concussion where you got your head wrung and then go right back into full contact sports the next day. That's not good for the brain. The brain needs to heal just like any other part of the body. If you pull an Achilles and you have a horrible Achilles injury, you don't tell that person go run some wind splints the next day. That's just not how that healing process works. And it's the same thing for the brain. If you get a concussion, it takes a little time for that brain to heal. And if you get a second concussion before that first one is completely healed, it can permanently cause issues for the child. So you want to make sure that we're creating as much space between the potential for a second injury as possible. And then, it's kind of a ramp itself up. Once that cognitive rest period, you feel like it's reached, you kind of get some light exercise, kind of doing some non-contact training, things you can do without the potential of, getting that bell rung, and then slow progression into a full contact practice, and then return to play. But they have some pretty good protocols out there that you can actually, look up that are, and I can send you some of those you can post on the feed after this show is done.
Okay, that works. And that's for, all parents. Like I said, I know us on this level, before we start play, there's a test that you have to take. And then you have to pass that test after, if you receive a concussion diagnosis, before you can return to doing anything. So I know Little League probably don't have that. I know some high schools probably don't have that capability. So we just wanted to make sure that we give that information with the start of football season. Again, Doc, I thank you for just giving me a couple minutes, as I know you're getting ready to go back to that madhouse that we call the ER. And did I hear
off tonight? I'm done. So,
off tonight. Okay, that's good business. That's good business.
I don't go
good
back
business.
until I'm coming to the Alcorn game in Huntsville. My wife is from Huntsville, so we packing the kids up and we bringing them to Alabama. We're gonna barbecue and kick it and kind of hang out and hopefully get us a big old Braves win.
Ain't no doubt about it. And I need you to do some cognitive testing, reduce your screen time, and get yourself together before the season starts, because I know you're a Cowboy fan and everything you diagnose that comes back to being a Cowboy fan. So yeah, hey, don't get that stuff together now, Doc, so you'll be okay. We don't want you to have any setbacks.
What I can tell you is that statistically, you're a statistics man, right? You got to watch statistics. Statistically, Dak has beat the Eagles 4 out of the 5 times they played them on the first game of the season since he's been a Cowboys quarterback. So I'm feeling pretty good about tomorrow night. So we'll see what happens.
This our year. Go ahead and say it. This our year.
This our year. We about to take
Doc,
it in.
Man. I appreciate you, brother, and I'll see you this weekend, man. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one. Appreciate you.
You too. Yes, sir.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mike Pouncey, former center for the Miami Dolphins. This is my brother Marquise Pouncey, former center for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
What's up, everyone?
This is our new cigar line. It's called Twin P. It also matches well with our bourbon whiskey. It's called Twin P as well. So if you like to smoke cigars and like to drink whiskey, I advise you get both.